Imagine entire villages being swallowed by raging floodwaters. That's the terrifying reality gripping Alaska's southwest coast right now, where one of the most massive airlifts in the state's history is frantically underway to rescue hundreds from the devastation left by Typhoon Halong's remnants. From Juneau, the state's capital, officials are coordinating this unprecedented operation, evacuating people from coastal communities battered by a catastrophic storm surge that swept away homes and livelihoods. But here's where it gets controversial. Why are these remote, mostly indigenous villages so vulnerable in the first place? And this is the part most people miss: the role of federal funding decisions that may have worsened the crisis. To understand the scale of this disaster, let's break it down gently for those new to these events. A storm surge is essentially an abnormal rise in seawater level during a storm, often caused by strong winds pushing water toward the shore. In this case, the surge from the typhoon's remnants set a record, crashing into villages and flooding them so severely that some homes were literally torn away, tragically, with people still inside. As a result, around 1,500 residents have been forced into makeshift shelters, seeking refuge from the chaos. Authorities, led by Incident Commander Mark Roberts, announced on Wednesday that 2 specific villages require complete evacuation due to the ongoing dangers. The human toll is heartbreaking. 1 person has tragically lost their life, and 2 others are still unaccounted for, leaving families in agonizing suspense. The affected areas are in southwest Alaska, where communities are isolated and reachable only by boat or air, making recovery efforts logistically challenging. This incident has shone a spotlight on broader issues, particularly the impacts of budget cuts under the Trump administration, to federal grants designed to help these small, predominantly indigenous settlements prepare for storms or reduce disaster risks. For instance, a $20 million grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to the village of Kipnuk, which was heavily flooded, was abruptly cancelled, a decision that environmental groups fiercely contested as short-sighted and harmful. In response to the crisis, the villages of Kipnuk and Kwigillingok formally requested state assistance to evacuate their residents, explained Jeremy Zidek, a spokesperson for the Emergency Management Office. Roughly 300 evacuees are being flown to Anchorage, a city hundreds of miles away from their devastated homes, according to the State Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. While Zidek couldn't pinpoint the exact origins of all evacuees by Wednesday evening, he noted that not everyone is choosing to leave. Some residents prefer to remain and support one another amid the ruins. This situation raises tough questions about preparedness and priorities. Is it fair to expect remote villages to fend for themselves against climate-driven disasters? Should federal grants for disaster mitigation be more robustly protected, especially for vulnerable indigenous communities? And what about the counterpoint that government spending needs stricter oversight to avoid waste? Could those cuts have been part of a necessary balancing act? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree that federal support should be a priority for such areas, or do you see it differently? Your opinions could spark some real debate.